What's up, guys? Wednesday, April 24th, 8:20 a.m. We have the newest Asics training shoe in the house here. So yesterday after school pickup, I went to the Charlotte Running Company because I needed, emphasis on the needed, to pick up a new racing shoe to test. And Charlotte Running Company has all the racing shoes in Charlotte, and I always peruse the newest inventory, see if they have anything interesting. Thought, maybe they put the Triumph 22 out a little early. No, they didn't, unfortunately. But I did come across this shoe, the Nimbus Mirai, and I remembered seeing something about it on Instagram popping up on my feed. And so I looked, what is this shoe? I searched YouTube, are there any reviews on it yet? And because there are no reviews on it yet, and because I'm a little bit of a sicko, I decided to pay the $180 for the shoe and give Asics more of my money. I think we're past $1,000 I've given Asics so far this year. I spent $500 on the Sky Paris and Edge Paris, only to find out they're basically the same shoe. Hey, shout out to Hunter Towing, putting in work this morning. Let's go, baby. So in this video, guys, we're going to see what the Nimbus Mirai is all about. I got some of my favorite cushion shoes out here. We're going to see, is this just an eco-friendly marketing play, or can this greenwashing daily trainer hang with some of the best max cushion shoes out there? Let's get into it. Alright guys, Asics Nimbus Mirai here. Now I'm going to try my best to not be cynical about the whole concept of this shoe. And so Asics puts a big priority on trying to be eco-friendly, and I'm not sure if that's the right word, eco-friendly. They do call their foam FF Blast Plus Eco. So they try to be environmentally responsible. Now, this channel is mostly focused on performance of running shoes. I'm not an expert on the environment or global warming or climate change. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of analysis about that, but I do want to highlight some of what they're trying to do with the shoe. I do think it's cool when brands try to make an effort with making their stuff a little bit more sustainable, but that's not going to be the focus of this video. It's more going to be about, can this dog hang with the big dog? So let's take a look here. Packaging is pretty sweet. They went with the all brown. If you see a brand go with the all brown, the all cardboard, you know they're putting in work, trying to make it eco-friendly. We're not using any dyes on this thing. And the whole concept of the shoe as well is, if you take a look here, this whole circular motif they got going, it's because after you use the shoe, right? Look at this. They make it here. They send it to you. This is when you buy it. You pay $180 for the shoe as a consumer, and then you send it back to Asics. That's what this graphic is. You can recycle the shoe at the end of its life, and then this is them ripping it apart because they use, I did my research on the shoe. They use this specific glue here where it's easy to rip the shoe apart. So I don't know how durable it's going to be, but they use a nice eco-friendly glue. You rip the shoe apart at the end of the life, and then I think what they're suggesting here is it gets recycled, and then you can make another shoe with it. So if you're into that, that's cool. So let's open up this thing. Look at that. Nimbus Mirai. I did go with the men's 10.5. So this is a unisex shoe. They're not making dedicated men's and women's lasts. That is something to know. And I did end up trying it on at the Charlotte Running Company, and it fit okay. So we'll have to see how it goes when I run, but Asics does have a little bit of weirdness with their sizes recently. So let's open this thing up. This box is pretty cool. It's not a regular shoe box. It's an eco-friendly shoe box. So look at that. We got the side open action. Let's get a little bit. Oh, man, this thing is clean. Can we get a bang? Man, let's get the right lighting on this guy. Yeah, baby. So the reason this caught my eye at the Charlotte Running Company is, look at this thing. This thing perfectly marries that clean, hyper sanitary aesthetic of the Allbirds and a lot of what was popping off in the late 2010s, early 2020s for millennials before COVID, with a little bit of that industrialized 2020s grungy flair. Look, you got the barcode on the tongue here. That's fire. Taking a little inspiration from my man Virgil, RIP. And look at that. You got the Nimbus Mirai stamped on the heel. You got a little bit of a different sculpting on the midsole here than we've seen in other Asics shoes. And it overall is just a pretty clean fit. And so with some of these shoes that I pulled out here to compare it to, I want to make sure we have some performance running comparisons, but that is not the only frame I'm going to evaluate this shoe. When I say performance, it's not just about can the shoe do a 100-mile week, because secret, guys. Yes, they're selling this at the Charlotte Running Company and they're positioning this as a specialty running product, but I also think they are going for a little bit of a lifestyle vibe with the shoe. Just look at it. It's clean, it's fire, it's fresh. After I bought it yesterday, Mason said, "Daddy, what was that clean white shoe that you bought?" So I think they are going with a little bit more of a lifestyle vibe. So because of that, I did pull out my favorite walking and lifestyle shoe, the Brooks Ghost Max, which is also a shoe designed to be a running shoe. I know a lot of people do like it as a running shoe, and I've actually recommended it to some people as a more cushioned shoe, but it's awesome for walking. So I'm going to be also evaluating how does this thing feel just on foot in general for walking around in casual use. Asics has a ton of great performance running training shoes, the Nimbus and the Cumulus, and this is going to bridge the gap a little bit, and I think they're probably trying to bring in a tiny bit of a different audience into the fold. Again, people who might have bought Allbirds, or who might have bought a Veja, or who might have bought Common Projects a few years ago, like I did. That was my wedding shoe. So from that frame, this is a good looking shoe. You got these nice details here with the stitching. Look at that, this silver stitching. On the upper, you have these little green. It's green. It's literally green. I like that. I'm not saying they're greenwashing, but you got green eyelet. Oh, man. I'm really not full. I said I wasn't going to be cynical. We got the green threads on the eyelets here. You got the green Asics logo. And this upper material, I'm telling you, I don't know. It doesn't feel like a super breathable performance upper that you would typically find on a running shoe. But I could say the same thing about the Nimbus here. And so this is the Asics Gel-Nimbus 25. This is a really solid max cushion shoe. And the difference between the Nimbus 25, and this is the last year's version of the shoe, this is the version I'd actually recommend if you want to get a Gel-Nimbus, because it's $40 cheaper than the Nimbus 26, and they didn't make too many changes from the 25 to the 26. But Gel-Nimbus 25 here is a nice soft max cushion shoe. I liked it. I didn't love it just because it wasn't the most durable for me. I tend to be a little bit more of a powerful runner, put more force into the shoes. So some of these shoes that I wear down on hard don't get a ton of life for me past 250 miles versus I'll talk about this shoe in a second, but the Triumph there, I got a lot of life from at 350 miles still going. So that was the real downside of the Gel-Nimbus, just wasn't that durable for me, but you get this soft FF Blast Plus foam and you get a gel unit in the heel. And so the main difference in the midsole between these two shoes, at least on paper, is that in the Nimbus Mirai, they've taken out the gel unit and they've just gone with the FF Blast Plus Eco. Now, one of the things we do know about Asics and the FF Blast Plus Eco foam is that not all FF Blast Plus and not all FF Blast Plus Eco foams are created equally. And so actually go grab my other Asics shoe that has it. So this is the other Asics shoe that I have that has the FF Blast Plus Eco. It is the Nova Blast 4. And so they actually, sorry, this doesn't have the Eco. I think this says standard. But regardless, this has the same foam in name to the Nimbus, but in here, it's a little firmer. This shoe is also more of a durable, everyday workhorse style shoe that you want to put on to chew up a ton of miles. It can do a little bit of faster work. Whereas the Nimbus 25 and 26, these are more of slow, plodding along shoes designed for ultimate comfort. And so Nimbus Mirai, this is the eco-friendly version of the Gel-Nimbus, so theoretically should be designed a little bit more for comfort on foot than for everyday runs and durability. So because this is a new line of shoes, I do want to read the Asics marketing copy and see what they're saying about this and how they're positioning it. So let's fire up that old asics.com. All right, hold on, man. We got to get the action shots of this guy all white, like I got the whole thing bleached. All right, here we go. Okay, accept the cookies. They're going to track me down now. A sustainability-focused running shoe that's helping us take steps towards zero waste. There you go, Nimbus Mirai. Now, as you can see here, one page with both men's and women's. So again, they have that unisex last. And what I really want to do, yeah, look at that. It's designed, again, that circular motif designed to be returned at the end of the life. But I want to find how they're talking about the shoe in terms of performance. So let's see. All right, here we go. Nimbus Mirai is a shoe taking steps towards creating a truly zero waste running shoe. A soft engineered knit upper comfortably wraps your foot while supplying advanced ventilation. We've created a new glue that allows this feature to be separated from the midsole after applying heat. Part of our take-back program, this construction allows you to bring the upper and sole back so the shoes can be repurposed. It's made with 100% recycled content in one type of polyester to support a sound earth. You see what they did there? Because Asics, it stands for something in Latin, I forget. Anime sanctus and anime corpus, something like that. Sound mind, sound body, baby. So it's sound mind, sound body, sound earth. So then they say, and they don't have a lot about how they're positioning the shoe in performance, but the cushioning designed, or it's engineered with 24% bio-based content, designed to help create lightweight and energetic cushioning properties. So that's really all they say about the shoe, lightweight and energetic cushioning. And then they say the foam is supposed to be softer landing and more responsive toe off. So they're not saying, and look at that, you can see the shoe taken apart. So they're not saying a whole lot about how they want the shoe to perform out there on the run. And of course, they do have the standard Nimbus for that durable, or not more durable, but for that more traditional max cushion running shoe. In terms of the specs though, same 8mm drop here. They do say max cushion, but man, I can't find the heel and forefoot drop anywhere. I'm even on Fleet Feet and they don't have it. So I'm not sure what the stack is, but let's take a look here. Let me just eyeball it, baby. You know we can just eyeball. And the foam here, it does feel a little bit firmer than the Nimbus foam. Probably a little bit, let's see, a little bit softer to the touch than the Nova Blast foam. But there's only really one way to find out how this thing is gonna feel, so we need to get it on foot. I do wanna see though, with this little bit of a different midsole and the more built up upper, how it compares for weight in terms of the other shoes. So let's do our weigh-in first, and let's get some of these guys on foot to do a fit and feel comparison, because on foot comfort is going to be paramount with this. If it's not gonna be that durable workhorse shoe, it needs to be super comfortable for walking and everyday use. So let's grab our scale and get to it. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to provide any analysis here, but I will give you the numbers that they print. They say carbon footprint plus 6.1 kg CO2e. So if you know what that means, let me know. And to compare that to the Nova Blast, they say carbon footprint plus 11.2 kg CO2e. I'm really not doing well on my not being cynical thing, but you know what, man? If you want to be sustainable, just don't buy a new running shoe. Just get 350 to 400 miles out of your existing running shoes. But man, who am I to talk, you know? Alright guys, because I'm a real sicko, I'm paranoid, man. I'm just making sure no one else got the Nimbus Mirai video up yet. Nimbus Mirai first run, and doesn't look like it. Nobody except for Asics. And even in these marketing videos Asics they have two of these marketing videos up. They say designed to be recycled, designed to be returned. So they are really hammering home that this is the sustainability, eco-friendly green shoe, which is great, but they don't talk much at all about the performance or how it's supposed to feel on foot. And it's a little bit interesting to me just to talk about the positioning and marketing for a second, because the Nimbus line it's one of the longest standing lines, nameplates in the running shoe game. They're up to 26. Pegasus is up to 40, but it's a shoe that I've seen some athletes, elite athletes, say, I used to run in the Nimbus in high school, similar to how people do with the Pegasus. Gel Cayano is another one from Asics that's up to 30. But to put the Nimbus name on a shoe like this, it looks great, but it better be a legit running shoe. So with that, let's throw it on the scale, see how this compares to some of these other shoes. And the reason I brought out hold on, I need my knife. Bang! All right, here we go. So Nimbus Mirai, and then I'll tell you about the reason I brought out one of these shoes. But Nimbus Mirai left shoe, 309 grams. That doesn't scare me. That's heavier than some max cushion shoes, not as heavy as a shoe like the Skyward X, which we just had come in here. But let's see how that compares to the standard Nimbus. So all these shoes out here are 10.5 US men's. Standard Nimbus, Nimbus 25, 311. So it's a little bit lighter, and we'll probably do a comparison on foot. But taking a look here, it does look like there's less foam. So stack height looks like it might be the same. Again, I don't have those stack height numbers, and it's not listed on Running Warehouse yet, but the way that the foam is sculpted On the Nimbus 25, it pushes out. You get a little bit more of that girthy caboose, and you do get a lot more of that caboose just sticking off the back here, which is great for heel striking, super comfortable. And by the way, people in my DMs, not my DMs, people in the comments section talking about heel striking means you have bad form. That is not true, man. I was reading a book last night by Dr. Chris Napier, PhD, put some respect on his name, and he debunked that myth that heel striking is bad on one of the first pages of the book. So go read a book. That's all I got to say to you. But yeah, what I was going to say is you don't have as much foam popping off the back here in the Nimbus Mirai. You do get a little bit nice of that rocker action up in the front. So, I mean, it looks sweet. I'm excited to see how this runs. Oh, we already got a little damage on the white. That is the one thing about these white shoes. This is going to get absolutely wrecked and rocked. But similar weight to the standard Nimbus. Now let's check the Brooks Ghost Max. This is my favorite shoe for wearing casually. I did a little hike in it the other day. Let's see. 309, so same exact weight as the Nimbus Mirai. And then Triumph, the reason I brought this shoe out here, not just because it's a durable, cushioned, daily trainer / comfort-oriented shoe, but because they have an eco-friendly sustainable version of this called the Triumph RFG, or Run for Good, so similar concept to the Nimbus Mirai, and they use a corn-based midsole material for the Power Run Plus in that shoe. So there's a few of these shoes now popping up onto the market. On also has one. Maybe I'll do a different video, or if you guys are let me know if you guys are interested of a roundup of all of the best sustainable eco-friendly shoes. I promise I won't be cynical in that. I don't promise. I might be cynical in that video, but if you guys are interested, I'll try to do a little bit of a roundup of all the green shoes on the market. But the Hilo Impact is another one. But okay, Triumph 293, and yeah, I was gonna say On also has one that you send it back every few months, and so that's supposed to be some sort of a more sustainable thing. But looks like Triumph is the lightest one here, and then let's just throw the Nova Blast on. It's not exactly in the same category, but this guy's gonna come in at 281. So in terms of the weight in the specs, Nimbus Mirai is right on par with all of the category shoes, and I brought the Ghost Max out here because this is the main contender in my mind for everyday performance and for running. If it's better for running than the Ghost Max or up to par with it and same weight and looks a lot fresher, then maybe we do have a winner for something, because that's my whole approach with reviewing all these shoes. I want to find the one thing that it's best at. So if this is going to be a little bit of a lighter impact shoe and it feels good for running and it looks fire and it's a solid, comfortable walking shoe, then maybe it is a shoe that we can recommend to people who are eco-friendly. Can people be eco-friendly? I don't know. Man, it's an election year too. They're really going to come for me after this video. All right, let's throw the right shoe on. 307.5. So the reason I weigh both shoes is to make sure, or to do a little bit of a check on QA. Are they letting shoes leave the factory that are not up to quality standards and that are hugely different? So if we take a random Brooks Ghost Max, let's see. I'm guessing this is going to have a little bit more variation. 309.5, no, and then 309. So Brooks does a good job with their QA. That 309.5, exactly the same. So that tells you that Brooks does a good job. I mean, they're owned by Berkshire Hathaway, so they better be doing a good job. Warren Buffett isn't just out here throwing dollars around at random companies, just throwing shoddy products out. All right, good job, Asics. The Asics always has good QA. I did want to check out one more thing before we lace these up. So they have the barcode on the tongue. I want to see where this takes us. The QR code. Is this even a QR code? It's not doing the QR. Oh, there we go. Okay. Asics.com. Let's see. Designed to be returned. So it just goes to the Nimbus Mirai marketing page. I was on this yesterday. Tells you about the features. Again, all the features are just about how eco-friendly this shoe is. I wish they said, oh, and this is the life cycle emissions, and they break down everything here. I don't know if this is good or bad, but they do say it's 50% lower than the industry average. So again, 6.1 kg of the CO2e coming from the A to the S to the ICS. But I'm not a rapper. Say it with your chest. All right. We got to get this guy on foot. This is a certified green, good-looking shoe. All right, so I changed into my running clothes, and I want to get these on foot, but I also want to show you science of running. I need to get this on camera. Dr. Chris Napier, PhD. Look at this. Page 9. Myth busting. One of the myths. If I want to run faster and be injury-free, I need to forefoot strike. The fact is that neither foot strike pattern is better. And look, he says, the idea that a forefoot strike reduces injury risk and improves running economy compared to a rear foot strike is false. That's fake news, bro. While the type of injury, he didn't say that. That was my affect right there. While the type of injury may vary depending on where on your foot you land, that's a lot of ons. The overall incidence of injury does not. So guys, there you have it. You can forefoot strike, midfoot strike, rear foot strike, as long as you're running with good form, the form that works for you. And look at this. He's got a whole breakdown of the running form and everything. We're studying. We're hitting the books. We're getting better at our craft, science of running. Anyway, let's get on these two shoes. I want to do a quick comparison between Mirai and Nimbus to see what the main differences of these are on foot. Alright, so lacing up this left Nimbus Mirai, and I should say here, let me show you, it's almost a one-piece upper here. They did call it a single-piece upper, so it looks like the tongue is folded into the upper. It's not a sock material, but it is folded in, and looking at it from the top, it really does look like the Nimbus. There are some minor differences here, like these eyelets and everything, but yeah, slipping my foot on, and let me slip my foot actually into the right one before we even lace up the left. I don't do this usually, but I want to just get an instant comparison. Let's see. Wow, very similar feeling, but I do have to say the Nimbus 25, the Gel-Nimbus, feels like this foam is a little bit squishier underfoot, and you can see can you see this? Yeah, as I'm pressing down with the Nimbus here, you can see it just feels and seems a little bit more flexible in the forefoot here. Let's look at this. Nimbus bend test. Mirai bend test. I don't know. Well, let's lace them up and see. So in terms of the comfort in general though, this does feel like a pretty comfortable shoe. It feels very stable and planted out here in the back for standing, but yeah, a little bit on the firmer side. Reminds me a little bit of the New Balance 880, actually, just lacing it up here. But it looks fresh. A little bit of a drip check here. Woo! Looks fresh. But yeah, not getting a ton of give underneath this foam. Do a little comparison to the Gel-Nimbus here. Seems a little bit squishier in the standard Gel-Nimbus. And that's one of the issues or tricky things about product naming. If they just called the shoe the Mirai, absolutely nobody would think it's a legit running shoe, but because they say Nimbus Mirai, it gives it a little bit more credibility. But the downside is, if it doesn't run well, then you tarnish the brand name of the Nimbus franchise a little bit. But all right, let's do a little bit of a walk test. All right, guys, walking in the Nimbus 25 and Nimbus Mirai here. Pretty similar feel, pretty similar underfoot geometry, and I'm not sure if it's because we have 300 miles on the Nimbus 25 or because these foams are slightly different, but I get a little bit more soft cush underfoot with this Nimbus 25, the standard Gel-Nimbus, than the Mirai. It also does feel softer in the heel of the Gel-Nimbus, again, because you do have that gel unit in the back, whereas the Mirai, you're rocking with just straight foam. And then in terms of the fit, though, they fit pretty similarly. I know this is a unisex last. It doesn't feel a lot tighter or snugger than the Gel-Nimbus. Let's see, my toe in the Gel-Nimbus goes up to right here, where my index finger is, and my toe in the Nimbus Mirai goes up to right here. So I have the same amount, probably about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of room up in the front here, in a 10.5, which is my normal size in Asics. Other than the Sky and Edge Paris, those ones are a little bit tight. But in all the Asics training shoes, I go 10.5. Same thing with the Nova Blast. these two fit pretty well. And then you can see the lacing differences. Again, you have more of these lay flat laces, the traditional lacing system on the Nimbus Mirai. I think they updated it on the 26, but on the 25 here, you have the little lace pass-throughs attached to the upper versus the lace eyelets being on the upper. So one minor difference there. Out in the back, tons of padding and cushion in the Gel-Nimbus. In the Nimbus Mirai, let's see, similar amount of padding and cushion, good structure. That isn't something that we talked about yet. Let's see. Yeah, we do have a decent amount of structure on the back here. I also wanted to mention the rubber. You have the AHAR Plus rubber on the Nimbus Mirai, which is the same compound that's on the Gel-Nimbus, and I believe same compound that's on, let's check, the Nova Blast here. I'm not sure, they don't have it printed, but the Nova Blast rubber was not great. I think that's the same rubber. I'll confirm. I'll throw a little note up here. But the standard training rubber on the Asics shoes isn't awesome. But if you're buying these shoes, and when I say isn't awesome, that means not great for wet weather. If you're buying these shoes, I hope you don't take them out in the wet weather. I mean, look at this thing. I will not be doing a rain run in these. You just know. No, they're too clean for that. These are staying as my pure clean running shoes. All right, I think we got to do a little quick jog test between these guys. Let's do it. All right, one jog. Everybody knows the rules. Nimbus Mirai versus Asics Gel-Nimbus 25. All right, guys, I got to give Asics some credit here. These two shoes felt extremely similar on foot. The foam, it almost felt like the exact same foam, exact same shoe. I think if I didn't know that I had two different shoes on, I'm not sure I would be able to tell. And sometimes that's the case, like the Sky Paris and Edge Paris. I wasn't really able to tell I had two different shoes on until I really picked up the pace down to marathon pace or faster. Then other cases, like the Ride 17 and Triumph 20, same exact foam name, Power and Plus, I could really tell that I had two different shoes on. There was a difference in the softness of that foam. The Triumph 20 felt a little bit softer. So good job, Asics, man. The Nimbus Mirai feels pretty identical to the Nimbus 25, which I liked a good bit. So we're going to have to lace up the right shoe and then hit some miles, and we'll see, because of course we only did a 400-meter, 600-meter jog here, but we'll see if it can hold up for a full run. Drop a bag on some Asics. Man, I wonder how many subscribers I lost from joking about sustainability in this video. I like Earth too, man. I don't know. Just go read some George Orwell, guys. You'll know what I'm talking about. All right, guys, so I got to get this other Nimbus Mirai on. But plan for the run this morning is a 10-mile recovery run. And when I say recovery, I do mean recovery today. Today is a recovery day. Yesterday, I hit a 20-mile double, so I did 12 miles in the morning at a little bit of a faster pace than I was anticipating. I think I was at a 6:40 pace, and then we did a stroller run in the afternoon, me and Reevesy boy. So that's coming off of also I had the 22-miler on Sunday, which is at a pretty good clip. So I'm trying to be a little bit more mindful this block of undulating the intensity, doing some undulating periodization. Undulating means wave-like, up and down. We got to go up and down. So if I'm doing a hard 20 miles like we did yesterday, today I want to be a little bit better at holding back so that tomorrow we can thrash again. So smooth 10 milers at whatever pace smooth is today. I'm not training by heart rate. I'm not even really training by pace this time around. A little bit on my aerobic days where I want to hit a certain pace, but I'm just going to train by feel. And whatever smooth is today, that's what it will be. Not pushing too hard, so let's go. All right, hold up. I tied this right one a little too tight here. It's digging into my Achilles. So we're gonna need to do a little bit of a retie. This doesn't happen to me very often. It's not every shoe that I have to retie. It's probably once every, 2 or 3 weeks. I forget the last shoe. I think On Cloud Eclipse was the last shoe where I had to fuss with it a little bit. But overall, this fit, the fit of the upper feels very secure. And this shoe feels like it fits my foot perfectly. It's the same thing as the Nova Blast 4. That shoe just felt like it fit my foot absolutely perfectly. And I'm getting a similar thing here. When Asics does get the right fit in these shoes, they are completely dialed in. This is a dialed in upper, 100%. All right, let's go. All right, 10-mile recovery run in the books. Bang, in the Asics Mirai. If anyone knows what Mirai means, let me know. I'm guessing it means like beautiful water or something like that. I don't know. The moss beside the sullen river. All right, 10.26 miles. Average 7:36 pace. Smooth little recovery run there. 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 2 seconds. And man, this is a clean looking shoe. I think that's my favorite thing about it. How it looks. This is fire. This might have to go on my best looking running shoes of 2024. My 5 favorites for casual wear. I mean, I'd much rather be rocking this around town just in terms of pure swag, pure drip, than any of these other guys. It definitely beats them. I'd put it in that Tracksmith Elliott runner category. And Brooks, actually, they do have some monochromatic, so all white and all gray versions of the Ghost Max, which look pretty sick. This is more so that old school New Balance 990 vibe with what we got going on here. But it's not the freshest, but it is good dad drip when I throw on that Cambro hoodie. Woo! And those Lululemon ABC pants. Woo! All right, let's pop these things off, do a little analysis. Hard-hitting analysis, baby. So last time when I was joking around, goofing off, just being an absolute clown. Man, this guy doesn't take himself seriously. Being an absolute clown about, let me see, the Nova Blast 4. And can you guys see that? That's a little carbon footprint thing. Somebody named Maureen said I was degrading my credibility by poking fun at the carbon footprint thing. So we're going to give, shout out Maureen, by the way. We're going to give Maureen some Ivy League level analysis here. I got to win my credibility back from Maureen, man. Got to get real articulate on her. All right, wrap up. Let's go. Maureen, that's my nickname. Huh? All right, guys, 10-mile recovery run in the books in the beautiful Asics Nimbus Mirai here. Now, I know I'm joking a lot about the eco-friendly properties of the shoe, the sustainable properties of the shoe, but I do want to say it's cool that Asics is making an effort to do something good to potentially lessen their impact and offer consumers a sustainable alternative, or a more sustainable alternative, maybe a little bit less of an environmentally harsh alternative to their standard running shoes. However, my issue with the product here, and I will get into how it felt on foot to run in, my issue with the product here is the pricing, and priced at $180. So $20 more expensive than the standard Nimbus, $40 more expensive than the Gel-Cumulus and the Nova Blast 4, and only $20 cheaper than the Super Blast. This is not an alternative. It's not an alternative because they decided to go boom, premium pricing. I told you I'm coming with the Ivy League level analysis here. We're doing the MBA frameworks. We're doing everything. Premium pricing. So they're not pricing this to cannibalize. Again, I told you, top tier analysis here. They don't want to cannibalize sales of the Nimbus with this. So they're not saying, here, if you're a big Nimbus buyer, if you've been buying the Nimbus for the past 20 years, buy the Nimbus Mirai. No, they're using the shoe as a little bit of a halo product or an innovation product to potentially bring some newer folks into the fold. Maybe they are running in Allbirds right now, or maybe they're running in the Clifton 9 or even the Pegasus, and they want to buy something that's a little bit more of, how should I say this? Something that'll make them feel better about themselves, about the environment, and maybe their purchasing decisions will have a little bit less of a harsh impact on the world. Maybe they drive a Tesla instead of a Jeep like I do. So they're blue cred is a little bit higher. But that is all to say, this shoe here is not gonna be that alternative to the Nimbus for most people. And I would not advise you to buy this shoe for $20 more if we're talking about a pure performance perspective. But this shoe is not just about performance. Again, it's about what it represents. And this is a symbol for the Asics brand. It's a symbol of everything they're trying to do behind the scenes to not just in this shoe, but in the Nimbus, in the Nova Blast, in the Gel-Cumulus. Use some more materials that are post-consumer content. Use a little bit more eco-friendly or bio-based content in the FF Blast Plus Eco Foam. And this is the total package of pulling all those efforts together into one product that can represent to consumers what they're looking to do, and that's Reevesy. We're trying to do Ivy League level analysis.
You're a Barnard compatriot.
Yeah. What do you think of this shit? We're talking about greenwashing.
It is cool that you can recycle it though. Right?
That's what you think? What about the fact that they priced it $20 more expensive than the standard version of it?
Is that what it costs for, like, can you ship it back for free?
I think so.
So then there's that
So if
free
you
shipping.
can. So if
And
you
then
can.
partly the cost of recycling it, right?
But it's not an alternative then to consumers. You have to really care about the environment.
Yeah, it is an alternative to consumers because it's like you feel less bad about.
Yeah, but it's
buying a shoe
exactly, it's about how you
about
feel.
consumers.
But why wouldn't you just use your existing shoe for 400 miles?
Because it dies after 200.
Yeah, well, I don't think this is going to be durable either. We'll see.
I understand what you're saying.
No, tell the
But
people. What are your thoughts on
I'm
it?
playing devil's advocate because I'm your way.
Yeah.
I like them. I like the colors.
No, they're fire. It's
Yeah, I like
my
the blue.
favorite looking one so far.
Yeah. And the silver. Alright, I'll leave you be. FF Blast Plus.
Eco, 24% bio-based.
With hybrid Asics grip. Peace, Steph Williams. Hobby joggers.
All right, guys, so as Charlie just pointed out, and she's a Barnard grad, so put some respect on her analysis as well. The extra $20 you're paying for this versus the Nimbus could be going towards the additional cost that Asics is eating to produce the shoe, and that you'll have to send it back to them at the end of its life, so maybe it's the shipping included. But with all that, you still gotta pay more for this shoe than the standard Nimbus. And the other thing here is, even though this is, I think they said 57% more sustainable or 57% less environmental impact than industry average, it's like when you buy a new shoe and you tell your wife or you tell your husband, well, I got it on a deal, I saved $60. Well, you didn't save $60 because you still paid $100 outlay out of your bank account. So that's a similar thing here. They're still producing more goods. Anyway, I like that they're doing something to have a product that represents all the efforts behind the scene. I'm not gonna knock Asics for trying to put a new product out there in the world that potentially could push the industry forward. And I do want to test more of these shoes, like the high-low impact, whatever On is cooking up, and some of these other, maybe even the Triumph RFG. Let's see if they make a Triumph 22 RFG. So I'm not down on this category as a whole, and I actually love the environment, guys. Teddy Roosevelt, that's one of my favorite presidents right there, probably top 3 president. Shout out to all my bull moose out there, and man, TR is the reason why we have so many great national parks. So shout out Teddy Roosevelt, shout out the environment. Now let's get into the performance of this shoe. So this is 90% similar to the standard Nimbus, and I don't have stack height measurements, but it felt pretty similar to what the standard Nimbus rides like. Maybe I was getting a little bit more compression in the forefoot here, but the other thing is that Nimbus that I have has about 300 miles on it. This is a fresh pair, and I haven't tried the 26. I think the way that they've sculpted this midsole is a little bit more similar to the 26. Maybe it's identical to the 26. But if you've not run in a Nimbus, the way that this rides is it's soft, it's cushioned, it's smooth. It's not the type of shoe where you want to do any sort of serious pace pickups in it. And today I was just cruising at a nice relaxed pace, and I've actually quickened my pace probably by 20 to 30 seconds per mile versus last block. I think I was pretty fatigued by the end of that last block, but we're moving a little bit faster, so average 730 pace in this shoe. So stability was good. It's a comfortable ride, and if you're looking to buy this shoe for something that's going to be comfortable, great for everyday use, great for casual wear, looks clean, then I will give it a hearty thumbs up endorsement, right in that category with the Tracksmith Elliott Runner, where you're going to be paying a little bit more, but maybe the brand or the product is more aligned with what you're looking for, and it looks awesome. I'm sure this will also look great with my Lululemon joggers and Canberra hoodie. So in terms of other parts of the ride here, stability was good out here in the back. I had no issues wobbling around. Really nice fitting upper. As I mentioned up there, it's completely dialed in. I love what they did here. The one downside, and this is something that happened with the Nimbus 25, is the upper can get a little hot, and I think it's only probably about 70 degrees out here this morning, but the bottom of my foot was heating up a little bit in the shoe. I don't always like to blame that on the shoe. It could be the sock, or maybe I'm developing athlete's foot or something, but it is a little bit of a warmer upper, and you can see just from this material here, it is a little bit of a thicker knit. It's not like a super thin engineered mesh. Take a look at the back here though. It looks like a really quality upper. You got some nice stitching around here in the back, not just this gold stitching, but do you see this detail? Yeah, this little stitching detail here is pretty fire. So you are getting a quality upper. I'm sure it will last for a long time, and if you do want to send it back at the end of the life, it probably will be even in good shape by the time you send it back. And then heading down to the outsole here. So this is the same outsole coverage that we get on the Nimbus 26. And I forgot to mention, or failed to mention in the beginning, that you do have the two different types of rubber. So it's not just the AHAR Plus, you also get the Asics grip. So I think this might be a little bit better than the Nova Blast. Again, I'm not gonna take this shoe in the rain, and I wouldn't advise buying this shoe if you want something that's good for the rain, unless you like just having a brown, totally torn up shoe. But they do have the Nova Blast 4 TR, which is the trail version. Or the Nimbus TR. That's probably what I would get if you want a shoe that's a little bit better for mud, muck, and rain. This is not gonna be, for me personally, the shoe that I take out in the rain. It's gonna get absolutely wrecked. So yeah, overall comfortable, smooth ride. Downsides, a little bit hotter upper. And then also with the Nimbus in general, this shoe and the Gel-Nimbus, the foam has this certain quality to it, and they call it the same foam that's in the Nova Blast 4, the FF Blast Plus. Well, this is the Eco version, but this foam, at times it can feel like I'm running on top of a brownie that's melting, where it just gets a little bit too mushy. I feel like I can't turn over my legs as much, and this is not a speed training shoe or a speed oriented shoe. I'm not gonna take this out for a half marathon pace workout, but even in this 10-mile recovery run, there were some points where I was just wishing I had something maybe a little bit peppier or firmer. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but past 30 minutes, sometimes it feels like I'm fighting against the foam in the shoe, which is the inverse, the opposite of what happens in the Nova Blast, where as I put more time and miles into that shoe over the course of a run, it feels smoother, maybe softens up a little more. Something about the shoe just glides along a little bit better as I put more time into the shoe. With this, it's a little bit of an opposite effect. But if you want to buy the shoe as that everyday runner, that shoe that you want to take to the gym, maybe do some errands, or just for casual wear and occasional running, this would be an awesome choice. I would put it right up there with, if you want to compete against Pegasus, any of those standard $140 daily trainers like a Pegasus, a Gel Cumulus. I haven't tested that shoe, but New Balance 880 or even Tracksmith Elliott Runner, this is competitive with those types of daily trainers. And so if you're a buyer who wants a shoe that can be pretty good at a bunch of different things, comfort oriented and looks good, that's what you're gonna get out of the Nimbus Mirai. And again, I think we do have to talk about price one more time, so $180. Now, ignoring everything else in the Asics lineup, just think about other options in the market at that price point. You have the Invincible 3 and the SC Trainer V2. Those are my two favorite shoes that are priced at $180, and both of those shoes are probably a little bit better buys than this at $180. If we're talking performance alone, I would expect this shoe to be in the $140 to $160 range. It's really similar to the Nimbus, which is priced at $160, which I'm not even sure if I think that's a great buy at $160. I would much rather take the 1080 V13 at $165, but that's what the market will bear for the shoe. So I think this probably has a $20 to $30 price premium applied. And then if we think about above that $200 price point or above $180, you have the Super Blast, you get On Cloud Monster Hyper at $220, you get the Skyward X at $225. So anything above $180, that's when we start getting into midsoles packed with more tech. And even for $180, you're expecting to have a little bit more technology packed in the midsole. So again, this is not going to be about the technology, it's about the look of the shoe and the environmental hoopla that's involved with it. And so if those two things are important for you, aesthetics, feeling good about the environment, then this is a good buy at 180. It is not a brick, it's not a bad shoe, it's a nice shoe, it's a solid shoe. I don't think it's gonna be going on my top 5 list for anything this year. I'll probably top 5 list for looking shoe because it's fire. This is a good drip right here. But in terms of performance, it's solid. It's not gonna let you down if you want a nice, reliable shoe. Now, of course, we only have 10 miles on it, but I've put a ton of miles on other Asics shoes, and they are a reliable brand. I don't anticipate any serious issues coming up with this shoe if we put more miles on it. So if you do buy the shoe, let me know how it goes in terms of durability, but I'm thinking it's gonna be a solid shoe to get you up to that 200, 250, 300, 350 mile mark. Then you can send it back, get something else, maybe try the high-low impact, or maybe try the Nimbus Mirai 2 if they come out with that shoe. So that is all I have for you today, guys. Thanks for sticking with me through the jokes. Well, I hope some of you stuck with me through the jokes. Shout out Maureen, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. One more thing I did want to say, so Nova Blast 4, this also comes in monochromatic colorways, $40 cheaper. It's gonna be better for long run. So if you are more interested in the performance versus the aesthetics and the environmental chops, I would go with the Nova Blast 4. They have some pretty good looking colorways here. It's a little bit better for spending time on feet. The foam is a touch firmer, but it's more stable. Also really comfortable with the padding you get. So both of these shoes are going to be solid, but if you're training for a marathon or doing a lot of hour plus runs, I would go with the Nova Blast 4. It's going to be a little bit better or a little bit worse for casual use. Nimbus Mirai looks better, also feels a little bit easier to walk in than the Nova Blast 4 with this chunky heel, but Nova Blast is the superior option. Look at that Ivy League level analysis there. Put some respect on my SAT words. Yeah, Nova Blast 4 is superior option for running. And if you want that hyper deal, go for the $100 Triumph 20. This is a max cushion daily trainer. Max cushion shoe, kind of like a daily trainer. Nice bounce to it. Super durable. I have 350 miles on this pair. Still going strong except for some heel wear right there, but also a good deal. And then the standard Nimbus 25 you can find for $120. So if price and value is a concern, I wouldn't go for the Mirai, but this is fire drip. So if you want that fire drip, I'm not going to shade you for getting the Nimbus Mirai. All right. Shout out Maureen. Okay. I don't know why I said it like that. Okay. One more thing. Actually, guys, I realized the reason they have this box like this is because I think you can send it back using the box. So that's pretty cool. They give you the shipping box right here, and then when you're done with the shoe, you send it back to Asics. That's cool. It would be cool if after you send it back, they gave you $20 back so that the shoe were $160. All right, guys, one more thing. This is the third one more thing, but we are immediately upgrading this to casual duty. I have to take Mason to a play date at her new school. You know I'm rocking those Lululemon ABC chinos, and we're upgrading this to take that Brooks Ghost Max slot. I got to come in clean to Charlotte Latin today. You guys better watch out. Dad drip to the max. Let's go. Nimbus Mirai. Already found a place in the rotation.